Well, the first thing you're going to start with a grip. And the grip is probably the most important thing. You want to get 4 seams as often as you can. But as a catcher, you're trying to get rid of the ball as soon as you can. So sometimes you may not get 4 seams, and you might have to adjust a little bit.
You have a little plan, a little thing you used to do at home, flipping the ball around when
Yeah, you can flip the ball and try not to look at it and just see if you can come up with the 4 seams every time.
Well, it just seems like you have to be so quick as a catcher. What about holding your hands? Let me grab your mask. Where do you hold your hands? Because, you know, they're not going to be like an infielder. I got my hands right here.
Well, this goes back to putting your thumb inside your hand, and because you want to protect your thumb and your fingertips. And I like to put it right behind the glove, right here, because I think as a catcher, when you're catching the ball, you got this distance, because this is where you're going to transfer the ball. You're going to transfer it to the top of your shoulder. You got this distance to get 4 seams. If you put your hand behind your back, they're going to meet here, and you only got 1 chance to get 4 seams. So if you got your hand behind your glove in front, you got a little bit more time to get 4 seams. And having a 4-seam throw opposed to necessarily maybe a 2-seamer, or sometimes you even grab it and you throw it like this, like a palm ball.
Yeah.
The more often you get 4 seams, the more accurate you're going to be. And obviously, accuracy is probably the most important thing, because if you don't throw a runner out, the last thing you want to do is give them an extra base because you threw the ball away.
Okay, so we get the ball out of our glove, the transfer, and now what's happening with the rest of the body? How do you get your arm in the right slot? And what is the right slot?
Well, it all comes down to footwork. In your footwork, you want it to be short, you want it to be efficient, and you want to be quick movements. And basically, I'm back in that stance where there's 2 strikes or a man on base, where my thighs are parallel to the ground. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to catch the ball out front. And for you older guys, what I like to do is I like to draw like a T, basically. And your back foot never comes off the back line. Your back foot stays on the back line, and the front line that runs towards the mound in the second base, that determines where your front foot is determined by where you catch the ball. For example, if the ball's on the outside, your back foot's going to stay on the line, and basically your front foot's going to be here, so you're on that line. If the ball is down the middle, your back foot's going to slide a little bit, and then you're going to be on your T line that you drew. And then if the ball is on the inside corner, your back foot's going to have to slide a little bit more, probably past the perpendicular mark, and then you're going to have to be able to square the shoulder up. It's very important that your weight is on the balls of your back foot, and that your weight stays behind your chin, your chest, and the ball of your foot. Because if you go forward, you're going to make a bad throw and you're going to rush. But you have to stay back.
Well, what about the batter? If the batter's standing here, and he's going to be maybe starting to swing, how do you cheat to go get the ball on that?
Well, if this back foot never goes forward, you're not going to touch me. But if you're a thrower that goes forward, you have to wait till the ball gets to you. And obviously, you want to get rid of the ball as quick as possible. So if I'm in that position, I start moving when the ball's at the grass and the dirt, I can be here, and I'm no closer to you than when I was in my catching stance.
And that's why you say footwork is so important.
You have to stay down, it has to be quick, and your steps have to be short. If you get long, like this, you're probably going to throw it high. So your steps have to be short and quick. And basically what it looks like, for a ball in the inside corner, it's here. If you look, my foot is on the back line. I'm squared up to second base. My nose is going towards second base. You always want your head going towards second base if that's where you're throwing. If it's down the middle, the back foot slides, and I'm right here. If you look, my steps are really pretty short.
Yeah, I was going to say it's pretty efficient because you're not taking up a whole lot of ground. You would think that a guy was coming out here to throw, and that's not the case because you got a batter standing here in the way.
And what people think is when you go forward, you're going to be quicker. But when you go forward, you're slower because the ball's going to travel quicker than your body is. So if you're in that position to throw as soon as you can and you can cheat, you can get rid of the ball quicker than a guy that goes forward. Because when you go forward, you have to wait till the ball's by the hitter before you can start moving. And on the ball out here, basically this foot's not really going to move. It's just going to pivot, and your front foot is going to be lined up towards second base.
Now, I assume we're talking about a fastball. What about on a breaking ball that takes a little bit longer to get there?
You have to wait a little bit more. I mean, obviously, you might choose a point where it's not quite as far. It's a little bit past the grass from the pitcher, and the big thing on breaking balls and fastballs, more important on breaking balls because they're usually going to be breaking down, is as a catcher, if you stand up you're going to make a bad throw. So you have to stay down in a good position, ready to throw. Your transfer is very important too. You want your transfer to be a direct line. If you stand up too early, you're going to push your hand this way and your body's going to be going this way. So it's really a timing thing. You want to stay down, the transfer's here, direct, get the 4 seams, and make a good throw to second base.
Now, if I'm a youngster just trying to figure out how to do this, how would the footwork work? Does it change for?
I would teach a youngster different because his arm strength is not there. For a youngster, I would lead with my right foot. So here you have to basically almost wait till the ball gets to you. If the ball is over here, you're going to take this little step, you're going to bring this leg around, and you're going to throw. So you have some momentum going towards second
And plus,
base.
he's probably concentrating on making sure he catches the ball, and this is a little bit easier to be a little slower.
And that should be very important for all ages. You have to catch the ball first and make the transfer before you can even start throwing. So for a youngster, you just want to lead with your right foot. If it's in the middle of the plate, you're going to go here. And if it's over here, it's going to be a little bit tougher. But you want to lead with your right foot so you get some momentum going forward so you can throw the ball.
So I'm thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, what would a good drill be? Somebody sitting in front of you just throwing the ball and you come get it? How do you work on the footwork so you can be efficient with it when it comes time for a runner
Just
to run?
someone out, you put the ball in the machine and you just work on cheating if you're older, and you work on your footwork. And if you're younger, you work on that little jab step that I talked about, leading with your right foot.
Okay. Now, what if I throw some balls to you? Can you show us what you're talking about?
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand behind my glove so I get used to getting the 4 seams and I have a little bit more time. I'm going to get in my stance, and I want my thighs parallel to the ground, and I'm just going to get ready to throw, and I'm going to try to remember the T. That's one drill you can do where you don't have to throw. You just get in your footwork. And if you noticed, I was down. I'll do a few of those first. Here I am, along the back line. You want to stay on that back line.
So just working on getting to the tee.
And trying to get my feet in that spot as quick as possible. The glove comes directly up. It comes directly up. You don't want to loop. The arm comes directly up, and you're basically at this angle right here. It's very short arm movement. It's not a long circle. It's a very short arm movement.
Okay. Now, what if do you work different pitches, different sides of the pitch?
Well, if you throw a ball over,
if
you throw a ball over here, if you get at this angle over here and practice on using the ball over here, then I gotta get my right foot over farther. So if you want to stand on the first base side of pitcher's mound, I can practice this pitch easier.
Okay, that's what I'll do. Go give a couple of those.
The low pitch is the hardest pitch to throw because you have to stay down the longest. If you come up, there's a good chance that you're not going to have a good transfer and get the 4 seams. I'm going to throw a few here.
Okay. What's the throwing motion supposed to be like? I've heard like similar to a quarterback or even a second baseman turn a double play.
It's almost like a quarterback where your arm basically comes straight back. You want to keep your elbow high. And I always felt you want to feel like you're throwing downhill. You don't want to feel like you're throwing uphill because you push the ball. You actually want to feel like you're throwing downhill, get the 4 seams, and let it fly.